Well, howdy. Well, you've looked at these before. These are my little 22 short pocket pistols. And the reason I'm showing them again is I picked up another pistol, and I'll show it in just a minute. These are all probably from the early 1870s, though they're marked earlier. It was a ploy. This one might be much earlier. I'll explain in a minute. Harrington and Richardson, and the other one's a Colt. This is a Colt. The problem is that Smith Wesson was the first one to do these, and they held the Rollin-White patent. And the Rollin-White patent was on the bored-through cylinder. So Colt was sort of limited to their 1851 and 1860 Navy and Army, respectively, and their pocket police was 1863, and pistols like that, because they were all using cap and ball. Poured through cylinder with a rimfire was something that was very innovative for Smith & Wesson. Well, the reason I say this one might be earlier is this is Harrington and Wesson. Frank Wesson, son of Daniel Wesson of Smith & Wesson. Well, Frank used to trade a lot on the family name, and this particular revolver, I think, might have been made earlier, and Smith & Wesson just did not prosecute on him because of, his family. Anyway, all of this, they say that it's the height of what's the old quote about the height of vanity or something, to copy somebody, to mimic someone? Well, these are all mimicking one particular pistol that was made at this time. And it was made, like I said, these are 1870s. It was made starting about 1859, 58, 59. That is a Smith & Wesson Series, or Model 1, Series 1. Now, I'm sure of that because of the serial number. The serial number on this pistol, which is right here, is 772. That's right, 772. Series 1 pistols were made from serial number 1 through about approximately 12,000. By the time this was done in the 1870s or so, they'd made several hundreds of thousands of these. There was a Series 1, 2, 3, and a sort of botched Series 4. You can find more information on it in a book called The Gun Report for April of 1956 by a fellow named, what was his name? John Kuntz, K-O-U-N-T-Z. The 1956 Gun Report, April. Anyway, the way this thing works, and each one of these is slightly different. These used a push-out pin. This one used a swing to the side cylinder. This one, it's kind of interesting. You pull down here. I think you cock it first. And you push up here. Come on now. And it opens like that. And then the cylinder comes out. I know about when the Rollin-White patent is actually marked on this cylinder. And, on the cylinder. And it also shows the 1860 patent. So I think this was made in 1860. I think it's interesting. The pin on the center is actually made out of brass. Kind of weird. But I'm not really sure of this. This thing is supposed to catch on these little things here. But I don't know. It's kind of worn because it's not catching. You can lift up. I think you'd lift up like that so that it would spin without catching, and therefore without damaging it. But it's not really working right. Anyway, this is from the very first, 1,000 of these ever made. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I just picked it up at the gun store. And the fellow actually had me fill out a 4473 on it, even though this is not a gun, technically speaking. It's from the 1860s, actually the 1850s. Probably this was 1859. Well, actually 1860, because it is marked with the 1860 patent. So I'll give him that. It is from 1860. But the ATF rules that they govern with say that anything after 1898 is a gun. Anything before that is not considered a firearm. And this is certainly before 1898. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, my latest find.